Welcome back to Grammar Grade 10. This is Unit 6, Lesson 41, and we're opening a brand new unit, Subject-Verb Agreement. Here's the whole idea in one sentence. A verb has to match its subject in number. If the subject is one, the verb must be a one verb. If the subject is many, the verb must be a many verb. It sounds simple, and honestly, most of the time your ear gets it right. But there's a twist hiding inside this rule that trips up almost everybody. And by the end of today, you'll see it clearly. Let's begin. Let's lay the rule down first. A verb must agree with its subject in number. Number just means one or more than one, singular or plural. So a singular subject takes a singular verb, and a plural subject takes a plural verb. That's it. That's the whole law of this unit. Think of the subject and the verb as a pair that travels together. Wherever the subject goes, the verb has to follow, wearing a matching form. Every single lesson in this unit is really just a new disguise thrown over that one rule. Now, here comes the twist I promised, and it is genuinely backwards from what your instincts expect. Look at nouns first. One dog, two dogs. The little s on the end makes the noun plural. Fine, that's what s means everywhere else in English. But now look at present tense verbs. The dog barks, with an s. The dogs bark, with no s. Do you see it? On a verb, the s ending marks the singular. The plural verb is the bare one. So the s does the exact opposite job on a verb than it does on a noun. Here's the handy picture. In a correct present tense sentence, the s lands on one of them, either the noun or the verb, but never on both. Let's watch the pair locked together in a real sentence. The violinist practices every morning. The subject is one person, and the verb practices takes the s to match it. It happens every morning, day after day. Notice which word is in charge here. The subject rules the verb, and the verb never rules the subject. So one player means the verb wears the s. Now change nothing but the number of the subject. The violinists practice every morning. Many players now. So the verb drops the s and becomes plain practice. Same sentence, same meaning, same everything, except one small letter moved. That single letter is the whole agreement system doing its job. Now let's meet the verb that gives everyone the most trouble, the verb be. Be doesn't just add an s, it changes shape completely. The lantern is bright, singular. The lanterns are bright, plural. So in the present, be gives us is for one and are for many. And here's what makes be special. It keeps agreeing in the past tense too. The lantern was bright. The lanterns were bright. Was is the singular, were is the plural. So remember the pairs. Is and was are the singular forms. Are and were are the plural ones. Be is the only verb that shows number in the past as well as the present. The same thing happens with have and with do, especially when they're working as helping verbs inside a verb phrase. The sailor has returned. Singular subject, so we use has. The sailors have returned. Plural subject, so we use have. And with do, does the sailor know versus do the sailors know? Notice something important about verb phrases. When the verb is more than one word, it is the first word, the helping verb, that does the agreeing. The main verb after it just sits there unchanged. So keep these pairs in your pocket. Has and does are singular. Have and do are plural. Here's a piece of good news that saves you a lot of worrying. Agreement only shows itself in certain places. Look at the past tense. The pilot landed. The pilots landed. Same verb form both times. Landed works for one pilot or 20. There's nothing to choose, so there's nothing to get wrong. But swing over to the present. The pilot lands. The pilots land. Now the form has to be chosen, and now you can get it wrong. So this is where your attention belongs. The present tense, plus that one exception we met, the verb be, which also agrees in the past. So let's turn all of that into a 3-step routine you can run on any sentence. Step 1, find the simple subject, the bare noun or pronoun the sentence is really about, stripped of every describing word around it. We practiced that back in the lesson on simple subjects, and it pays off right here. Step 2, ask yourself the only question that matters. Is that subject one or more than one? Step 3, give the verb the matching form. Singular subject, singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. And here's the warning that sets up this entire unit. Match the verb to the subject and to nothing else. In the lessons ahead, English will keep sliding other words in between the subject and the verb, hoping you'll match the wrong one. If you always hunt down the simple subject first, none of those tricks will land. Ready to practice? In this first set, I'll give you a sentence with 2 verb forms to choose from. Find the simple subject, decide whether it's one or many, and pick the verb that matches. Pause the video and choose before I reveal each answer. The harbor. Glow or glows at sunset. Find the simple subject. Harbor. Is that one or more than one? One. And remember the crossover. A singular subject takes the verb with the S. So the correct answer is glows. The engineers. Test or tests the bridge. The simple subject is engineers, and that S tells us it's plural, more than one. A plural subject takes the bare verb with no S on the end. So the correct answer is test. That old clock. Chime or chimes at midnight. Strip away the describing words that and old, and the simple subject is clock, just one of them. A singular subject needs the verb that carries the S, so the correct answer is chimes. Now let's practice with the shapeshifters, the forms of be, have, and do. Same routine. Find the simple subject, count it, then match. Pause and try each one before I answer. The tomatoes. Is or are ripe. The simple subject is tomatoes, which is plural. And with the verb be, the plural present form is are. So the correct answer is are. The messenger. Has or have arrived. Our simple subject is messenger, just one person. In a verb phrase, the helping verb is the word that has to agree, and the singular form of have is has. So the correct answer is has. The lanterns. Was or were bright. Simple subject. Lanterns, which is plural. This one is in the past tense, and normally the past hides agreement completely. But be is the exception. It keeps agreeing in the past. Was is singular. Were is plural. So the correct answer is were. Let's gather up what we learned. A verb agrees with its subject in number. A singular subject takes a singular verb, and a plural subject takes a plural verb. The tricky part, the part worth memorizing, on a present tense verb, the S ending marks the singular. The dog barks. The dogs bark. That's the exact opposite of what S does to a noun. So the S lands on the noun or on the verb, never on both. And the shapeshifters, be, have, and do, change form to agree. Is and are, was and were, has and have, does and do, with be agreeing in the past as well. Always find the simple subject first, then match. In our next lesson, English starts playing tricks. We'll slip a prepositional phrase between the subject and the verb and see how easy it is to match the wrong word. I'll see you there.